What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our biggest episode yet, literally and figuratively. I got about seven of us. Real quick: Andrew Tova, Lau Peppel, Yestin Harris, Garrett Cowdre, Jacob Lucas, Armand Sadi, Chris Mullen. Bunch of you haven't gotten to sleep in like 8 days. Rest of us seem a little upset. Chris Mullen and I, not at all. Whoever wants to go first, we got a lot of time. We got a lot of people. Go for it.
It's going to be me. I don't hate Gregory Rousseau for the Bills. I don't. I know I'm supposed to, but I don't. I've convinced myself in the short period since the live show ended and this pod started that he was a good pick. But we are in a Super Bowl window and they chose yet another developmental player. I mean, he could have been a steal. He could be incredible. If it played last season, he might have been the top 15 pick. But that doesn't take anything away from the fact that he's only had one season playing defensive end, and we've drafted him to put him in the most expensive defensive line in the NFL right now as a developmental player behind guys who are going to take a lot of snaps. And I expected someone to make a little bit more of an impact right away if we're trying to actually win a Super Bowl in the short term.
I mean, when you look at it, the fact of the matter is you can't go back and pick Barmore instead. You can't go back and pick Ojulari or Tryon instead. Gregory Rousseau was the pick. That he's a Buffalo Bill, and now you need to examine your pick. Were there better players? Yes. I'm in the same boat as you as a Saints fan, but you can't change who you picked. So you need to go key in on who you got. Who you got is a high upside player at one of the three most important positions in football. So could this have been a waste of a first round pick? Yes. He had bad tape. He's not very bendy. His pass rush skill set is weak. He's not very explosive, doesn't have a great first step, but he produced in college. He didn't have many injury concerns. He has great upside with a great coaching staff. He's a 10-plus stack upside player who was getting a ton of hype at the beginning of the year. Could you just imagine if he lives up to that? He could be the best edge rusher in this class. But we look at it now and we're like, yeah, well, Tryon was the safer pick. Ojulari would have been fine. We should have traded back, should have taken someone who can contribute immediately. Yes. But you got who you got, and now you need to focus on the player. And the player is not a bad one. Is he rich for 30? Yeah, but you can't change that. So this is the guy you're adding to your defensive line. What did you just get? That's what you need to think about. And like I said, we're in the same boat. I got to think about what did the Saints just get in Peyton Turner? Versatility, yeah. What did the Bills get in Greg Rousseau? Maybe early run stopping production, big lanky guy. He's got a big radius. I think that's where he can get on the field early, run stopping. So you didn't get a worthless player. Let's not act like we just got borderline undraftable players. Did we get great value for a guy like AVT at 14? No, we didn't. Chris's team did. But we did get a player who's going to contribute.
I'm wearing a headband now.
You got the headband now. Let's go.
Well, okay.
Look, I think Tolman makes a great point. I mean, I would love to go on here and clown all of your picks, except with Jacob and Lowell. You guys make good picks. Armand, who's your team?
Washington.
You guys made a good pick too. I love to clown everyone else here, but I'm not going to because you make a fair point. You can't change the team's pick. You can say it was a bad pick and you can grade it as such, but then after that you have to move on because at the end of the day, it's still gonna be your team. It's still gonna be the team you root for, the team you want to see win a championship. Like it's gonna be the team you always want. Like it's a team you root for. So you cannot change the player they picked. You can objectively call it a bad pick. That's not a bad thing. You say, yep, my team made a reach. My team made a bad selection here. What you can then do after that is say, look, I will find a positive in this player and see where he fits in my team. If he doesn't fit your team, then that sucks to suck. But I believe in both scenarios, both in Peyton Turner and in Yeston's case, and in Garrett's case, and in Deonta, I know you're not the too fond of your pick. Both, all those guys can fit in your teams very well. I kind of exclude Deonta from this because I think that Jamin Davis is a good pick, a really good pick, actually. Too. But I think the winner of this entire draft, I'll give three guys. The Bears, by far our winner. They traded to get their franchise quarterback, Justin Fields. He was slipping. They get the guy. I don't care how much it costed. They made a great pick. Number two, the Jets. I know I'm biased here, but to be fair, they drafted Zach Wilson at 2.
They're
and
a winner.
Immediately traded to 14 to get Elijah Vera Tucker, the best by far interior offensive lineman in the entire draft. at 14 by only giving up 2/3 and getting back a fourth in return. And that's really good value. And they give up no picks next year, which is really good because those picks are valued very highly because of a deeper class. And the third winner, it's a toss-up for sure. I would say the Giants are probably my third winner.
Yeah.
Purely because of the value they got back from 11 and then took Kadarius Toney. To just put the final piece in the puzzle to test out how good Daniel Jones really is. If Daniel Jones cannot succeed with Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney, Galladay, and John Ross, then he's not a good quarterback. Simple as that. It's very easy to figure out how he's good now because of that. My three losers, I'm just going to put losers out there. Patriots are one of them. I think the value with Matt Jones at 15 is not very good. Simple as that. Raiders, Alex Leatherwood at 17. The value is not good at all. Absolutely terrible value. Tevin Jenkins is still on the board. Dylan Rajan is still on the board. Darisaw, Eichenberg also on the board. I would have taken those guys over him. Terrible value. And then my third, I'm going to say the Saints. I think it was a really bad reach to take the guy you took. I think on my list, he remembers his name.
Peyton Turner.
Peyton Turner.
Don't dog on him that bad.
No gloves out of Houston. I mean, I don't think he'll be a bad player. Like, I think he'll be schemed fine. He'll be an okay player. But you had much better options. You had Joe Tryon. You had Azeez Ojulari. You had Ronnie Perkins, Carlos Basham. You could have gone interior defensive line with Barmore. You could have gone linebacker Jim Rasu Koromoa. You could even go offensive line with Tevin Jenkins. Like, that's not even a bad pick. So there was much better guys of value to go at 28. And I kind of lump in the Bills in the same party, especially because they're in a win now scenario where they need players to play now and to make an immediate impact. And the last guy that I would think would make an immediate impact would be a guy like Gregory Rousseau, who may be good in the future, but they need players to help them to get over the edge now. And I don't think they did that. When the Chiefs, for example, are upgrading their entire offensive line and rebuilding everything to make themselves even a better team and losing capital, but to make themselves an immediate contender is something that the Bills definitely missed out on this draft.
So, Christopher Mullen, we got our guy. We brought him home. Robert Saleh is going to win Coach of the Year. Joe Douglas is going in the Hall of Fame next week. Incredible draft for the Jets. Chris and I obviously incredibly biased. I don't like doing that on this platform, but kind of have to. An incredible draft. Robert Saleh is going to be a great coach, but that's not about that. Garrett, you've been going through some things lately. Unfortunately, yours happened to be on a live broadcast.
That was tough. That was tough.
It was rough because, like, like what you were seeing, like, that was raw. Like, I had such high hopes, dude. Like, there were so many great players on the board at 28 that weren't supposed to be there, and they were like,
Barmore,
DE 10, like, let's do it. Let's go crazy. Like, why not? We just picked up the 5th-year option for Marcus Davenport. Let's just draft another defensive end. But I'm not gonna freak out about it too much. I mean, just whatever. Like, nothing you can do about it now. Like with what Andrew said, and.
So are you reserving one of those lassos for Mickey Loomis as we speak?
Yeah, no, I'm going on a road trip this weekend.
An interesting development.
I will say real quick, the Saints had 19 players with a first-round grade on them. Not 32, 19. They picked at 28, and they got one of their guys with a first-round grade. Whether we agree with it or not, we're not NFL GMs.
He's 10 on the list for everyone else.
Shut up, Chris.
We're not Mickey Loomis, but we're also not everyone else either. Everyone else had him at 10.
So an interesting college development. Apparently Joe Burrow's a GM now. Tua's a GM now. Trevor Lawrence got his old running back.
That was
Which
weird.
one of these three
weird.
combinations is going to work the best 2021?
Dig it away, X. I know you have your thoughts on this one.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just coming in. I hate Mac Jones. Anyway, probably look. I don't get the Burrow thing at all because it doesn't matter who he's throwing to if he's on his ass the entire game. So I don't really understand that one. I guess Tua and Waddle just because he'll be upright the most time, and I guess it makes most sense schematically. The ETN one's stupid.
Weird.
I don't get that
That
at all.
I'm a big
That's
James
the weirdest
Robinson guy.
pick, yeah.
He
Notice
fits
how
their
everyone
scheme.
reacted to
He's-
that. There's a
he's
reason
the
for
speed.
that.
I mean, he's the speed that Urban Meyer craves, but James Robinson was the guy. Like, I would love to mock ETN there, but every single time I said they have James Robinson. Like, they have a young stud. They can use this pick on something they need. And, most teams went with players that they needed. The Saints even needed D-line. The Bills even needed D-line. The Patriots didn't need a quarterback, but they took Mac Jones. Anyway,
I'm gonna have to disagree there. I think they did need a quarterback, but they still should
chose the wrong
Mac
one. It's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah,
Ian
David
Book would have
Mills.
been there in a couple of days for sure.
You could have gotten
God,
Justin
Steven.
Fields. Yeah, just gonna put it
Again
out
with
there.
the Ian Book.
I mean, his product placement's unmatched for the Ian Book.
X, do you have any
Yeah,
statistics to
honestly.
support? Do you have any statistics to support the Mac Jones pick? I know you're big on the statistics argument.
Okay, X. All right. I finally got you where I watch you. You always hit us with these ridiculous analytics that I don't know where you get them. You might make them up, honestly. I don't know. Tom Brady, Mac Jones, same age, same body type. That's why Bill picked them. You can't convince me otherwise.
But look, he's a tennis player. I heard he has a
Real
great
stats that
run up to
matter.
the net.
Tolva's a tennis player.
yeah,
He's
you're
not
gonna
going
take me?
15.
I heard he gets the net really quick, so I guess in the pocket, he can shuffle his feet up and
You are
make some
grabbing.
throws.
You are fighting hard.
What else does
for
he have?
something
Honestly, what else does he got?
Hold on. Yeah, what else you got?
Like, to be fair,
Okay, so his physique is that of a 40-year-old man. So I think that
pros
there's-
are really strong.
it's only up for here. It's only up for here with his physique. It can only get better. So we're drafting raw physique right now. We can mold it the way we want.
Yeah, he looks like a block of play, but go off.
What else is going on?
Big Hero 6.
I heard he's great at X's and O's. I'm sure he'd be great with a clipboard as a backup quarterback, which I would have preferred him as.
But you
and
took
you
him
know
with
what's
your
even
first round
worse?
pick.
Cam Newton's the starter, who is like literally an abomination, a piece of hot garbage. I wouldn't say hot garbage. He's like garbage. He's
Cold garbage,
terrible.
not like the
Dog
garbage you
water.
want.
And guess
Okay,
what?
so who do you
Mac,
start?
Mac
Who
is
would you
Cam
start?
backwards, so it doesn't
Mac is
really help.
So
So
would you
That's the
start
stuff we
Mac
need here.
or Cam?
I would start a new
I want
franchise.
Tom
Is
Brady
what I would do.
So I gotta know then, who made this pick? Was it Bill Belichick or was it his dog?
Oh, it was 1,000%
It was
Bill Belichick. He
definitely
saw
Bill
a
Belichick.
marshmallow-looking guy and thought of Tom
This
Brady
guy's
way
this
back
is
when.
guy's potential right here.
He's like, hey, I hit a miracle home run back in 2000. Maybe I can repeat my success. The amount of time it took for that quarterback for that pick to be able to drink later.
I
Just
mean,
with a
Mac,
just with a much larger value dump.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mac get some plastic surgery and a hot wife. Maybe we can get on something here, but I just don't. I don't see it
15 is
happening.
basically the same thing as a 5th round pick. It's literally the same thing.
I just look. I would have just took a linebacker. I said that like 5 times. They
Wanted
really
Saban
need a
so
linebacker.
bad.
It was so apparent. They lost
Chris
Kyle
is
Van Noy a few years
just-
ago. I understand they got him back,
Hmm.
but that loss was humongous. And I don't think he's going to be the same player that he was a few years ago with New England. So just getting a linebacker was the utmost importance, in my opinion. Not getting a shitty quarterback, I just think that's really silly. You already have a shitty quarterback. Why do you need 2? So
For
I
depth.
just, it just
Damn.
doesn't make sense.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, but Cam types really cool letters. You can't put a value on that. That doesn't go
It's-
towards the
it's
He
QBR,
does.
but
He has
like
the
that's why he's got a
coolest
job.
letters.
Okay, so we're talking about the Patriots still. Justin
Lovely.
Fields possibly going there was like the worst possible nightmare because he absolutely would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer.
X sweating it out in the live stream. He was waiting.
This
So-
man was sweating.
And then he
So
goes with the
hard.
Jets traded to 14. That means Max can be there at 15. I started laughing before our pick even came in.
Okay. I have a question here. Deontay, I'm a big fan of the Jamin Davis pick. I think Washington really needed a linebacker, someone that could patrol behind that big front four. I know Chris and I talked about it before. We love his athletic upside. He's a real natural there. What do you think of the pick, Deontay?
So I don't hate the pick. I just hate how it makes sense, but this is 5 years in a row going defense in the first round. At some point, you have to address this offense. This offense is just terrible. That's literally he fits. We need a linebacker with some speed who can cover because we've struggled to cover tight ends and running backs in the pass game for a while now. So just getting another defensive player, especially a linebacker like him, makes sense. But this offense is just so bad. I just kind of wish we would have went
Is there someone at 19 you would have rather the football team take?
So I've heard they've been linked to guys like Darisaw for a while, but he has some injury, so that might have thrown them back off of him. Justin Fields, obviously they talked about him for a while, but they weren't going to move up for him. But at 19, with just the way the board fell, there weren't too many offensive players that weren't linemen that I wanted. So it was kind of like he fits our defense. So let's just not get just some linemen.
Right.
Let's go and get somebody who's actually going to make an impact.
He'll make a big impact, I bet. In the pass game, particularly, he brings a lot of third down value. So I love the pick. I think that's a big time addition to the defense, but I agree, offense needs some attention here. One of the biggest shockers before pick 28 was the Giants taking Kadarius Toney. This pick has really grown on me. I'm gonna open the floor. What y'all think of Kadarius Toney?
I think it was. Let the Giants fan feed first.
Yeah, as the resident Giant fan here, I got some thoughts. So, as you can probably tell in the chat, when we first made the pick, I was shocked and I hated it. But I'm with Tolva. This pick has grown on me immensely. And Sterling Shepard has gotten 2 concussions recently. And honestly, I partially think this pick is a pick to replace Sterling Shepard in the near future. I think that we got size in Kenny Golladay, but we're going to get speed in Toney, and I think that's going to be a helpful pick. We definitely could have gotten some guys and shored up the defense a little bit, but I think adding another weapon to Jones' arsenal is really going to help. And I don't remember exactly who mentioned this earlier, but I do think this is a make or break year for Daniel Jones. I think he either proves that he can be the franchise quarterback for the Giants, or one of our two picks in the first round next year is going to go to a quarterback.
So
yeah, I mean, look, to be completely honest, like the pick isn't bad. The value, I hate the value.
Value sucks, but it's a good pick, I think.
The pick, like, player is fine. The value, like the speedy receiver, like you could get that in the second round or third round. Like I always mention Amari Rodgers is my example. Like you can get a speedy underneath receiver in the third round and not sweat a bullet. This is no slight to Kadarius Toney. I think he can be a great weapon for you guys. But I think an offensive lineman or edge rusher or a more prime position where there's not as much depth as a slot speedy receiver may have gained them more value. But the pick itself is not a bad pick. It's like if the Jets picked a running back in that 23. It's not a bad player. It's just a bad value assessment. And I think it's the same thing with the Giants.
So I know this is kind of my thing here, but I want to raise my hand. So this quote-unquote scary offense that's been like the joke of the NFL offseason because, we just throw out words and adjectives for anything. Okay, if anyone can ruin an offense, it's Jason Garrett.
Facts.
That's fair.
If you want anyone to lead your offense, it's not Daniel Jones. Kadarius Toney does not add anything to this already scary, terrifying offense that's going to run the NFC East. Come on.
Deontay.
Jeez. I mean, look, he's not wrong. To be fair, he's not wrong because if you expect any player, like any coach to be the worst, like with a joystick kind of player, it's Jason Garrett. His offense is very fundamental, very old, very not very nuanced. And Tony's a very nuanced player.
It's bad. It's not good.
Okay, it's bad. It's bad. Yeah, it's underdeveloped.
Talk about it.
If I'm being honest.
I don't have the pedigree of a Tolva or Mullen, but here's how it is. Daniel Jones, still going to miss him. Saquon Barkley, barely out there. Who's the other guy? Evan Ingram drops everything. Kyle
drops
Rudolph
everything and is never healthy.
Kyle Rudolph, why he's in this discussion?
Hold on.
We're not talking about Kyle Rudolph like college. We're talking about this Kyle Rudolph just got released, but he's like the second Travis Kelce, but older.
300 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns every single season.
Jacob,
I
think
you're being a little
I genuinely don't hate the Giants that much. I just hate the important people there. I don't hate the roster. I just hate the important people of the OC. Joe Judge is weird.
The fired head coach's reunion.
Okay.
They're just all kicking it there, ruining the Giants again.
I saw it too, Andrew. I saw it too.
News just broke. Ryan Pace confirmed in a press conference that Andy Dalton will be the 2021 starter.
Yes!
Says that they have a developmental plan in place.
But they announced it before training camp even happened. Now, that's the funny part.
Well, here's.
Oh wait, we have a Bears fan here. I think in Preston.
Is he?
What's up, guys?
He's right here,
Oh,
actually.
Preston's
He
alive.
just turned his camera on like the
I
second
heard,
Okay.
I
announced
heard the
it.
Justin Fields talk
So-
and I had to turn my camera on.
Here's what I'll say. I think as a Chicagoan, it's good to see them out of the Mitchell Trubisky era. And finally, my friends have some clarity at the quarterback position. A raw guy who does need to develop now. Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, great pick, means nothing. Their jobs are still on the
Still on the
line.
line,
So
yeah.
if you are the management, your job is writing on who you start, how many wins you get, how far you go in the 2021-2022 NFL season. Who are you starting at quarterback?
Bringing back Mitch.
A collective should be Justin Fields, but
I mean, I
probably-
think Justin Fields should start more games, in my opinion. It's clear we have to win since we don't have a first-round pick anymore, so we can't like tank or whatever. But yeah, like you said, Pace and Nagy need to play for their jobs. I think it's the right move to start Dalton at least for like maybe the first 1-2 weeks, kind of like what the Chargers did with Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert.
Minus
I think
the
you-
medical
Bite the
mishap.
needles.
minus
Yeah.
the medical mishap.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
Chicago's hiring that trader like right now. Like he's
Just
on.
don't,
He's on
Yeah.
the plane.
just don't puncture his
Yeah.
lung and it'll be fine.
But yeah, I'm very excited about the pick. Gives me hope. You know, didn't really have much hope heading in, but I don't think we're gonna be good. It's just I'll get to watch slightly more fun football.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
I
a fair way
wouldn't
to
get
put
like
it.
I'm happy for you, but like don't get your hopes up because Andy Dalton's gonna get like way too long of a leash, and we don't learn. He was bad in Cincinnati for a while, and then didn't do anything in Dallas. But like we don't learn. It's like recycling coaches, but now just recycling redheads.
I mean, at least it's not a flip flop between
Ruthless.
Foles and
It's
Trubisky anymore. which is all-
crazy out here.
which is good
But
enough.
am I wrong?
Hey, he was once a good quarterback. He was once a serviceable quarterback.
Like 4,000
I mean,
plus yards.
Wasn't he like a 3-time Pro Bowler or something?
How many
Yeah,
playoff
whatever that
wins,
number
Tova?
is.
0.
Oh,
How many
yeah,
playoff
don't get me wrong.
appearances?
He's like a
He won it.
bottom 10 quarterback for all like 32 starters, whatever. Maybe even bottom 5.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
I,
look.
I like the pick. I think it's a high upside thing where even past the Matt Nagy, I mean, that's what's interesting. When these coaches and personnel who seem to be on their way out make a big pick like this for a developmental player, whoever the next coaches are or whoever the new front office members are, if that's not their scheme player, if that's not who they ride with, that could be a waste of a player. That could be a waste of potential. So you got to think maybe there's a little bit more to it. Maybe the owners in Chicago actually feel Nagy and Pace deserve to ride out the Justin Fields wave, and then it's just more pain
my
and
God.
endless
I
suffering
mean,
for the
I
Bears
don't think
fans.
Virginia
Imagine.
McCaskey knows much about football these days, but again, I think Fields should get out there as soon as possible. Whether it's the right move to just throw a rookie out there week 1, I don't know. Sometimes it works.
If
But
he's
yeah,
the best
I'd like to
quarterback.
see him.
Where's
if he's the
Ethan
best
with his
quarterback?
hot takes?
Well, I think he is the best quarterback. But I if there's a way they can like ease him in somehow, I'd be fine with that.
I agree. I mean, I think that was a big time pick. We take a look now at the New York Jets. Let's talk Jets.
Yes,
I
please.
think they have finally gotten their guy in Zach Wilson. I'm a big Zach Wilson fan. He can make all the throws. He's flashy. You look at the running back room, it's thin. Tevin Coleman can carry the load for this year if they don't see someone they like. He's a serviceable running back. In the wide receiver room, you have Corey Davis. I think he still has a high ceiling, even though he has been in the league for a couple years. I'm a big Jamison Crowder fan myself, and Denzel Mims is he still has a high ceiling. He and Corey Davis, I would say, are big potential players in New York. And then you look at tight end Chris Herndon. If he can get his off the field issues under control, he'll be a great dual threat tight end. Offensive line is looking solid now. You have Mekhi Becton, AVT, Connor McGovern, George Fant at right tackle, Greg Van Roten, and then a six-man in Chuma Adoja. So you look at the defense, Carl Lawson, Sheldon Rankins, Quentin Williams, and then Vinny Curry. I think they need to add an edge here. So looking at the remaining edge rushers, which there are a couple good ones, Basham, Perkins, Osai, Ojolari, Mullen, and Heimers. Who are you taking off the edge opposite of Carl Lawson?
None of the above. I'm taking
I just
Tevin
want to say
Jenkins.
one thing. You didn't mention Braxton Berrios, and like his thighs could crush like a coconut. So highly insulting. You didn't
Not
bring
even
that
a
up.
bold take, but I agree. I mean, X knows. He came to the Patriots.
So you invest another pick on the
Chris,
offensive line.
leave me alone. I've had a long day. All right, please.
He's on your team before.
I know.
You're starting Bless Austin and Bryce Hall right now. There are good corners available. Trayvon Mayrig is there. And then you also look, and on the board at wide receiver is Elijah Moore and Terrace Marshall and Rondale Moore. You still take a guy like Tevin Jenkins over them.
You want me to make a really educated guess? I would say it is Tevin Jenkins. Because the Jets have liked Tevin Jenkins throughout the entire process. They liked AVT throughout the entire process. They have a chance to fill almost all their offensive line needs this draft. It could be done. Because they are lacking the third round picks they once had, I think they will trade back regardless anyways. I think they move back and just to get some recoups to third round picks in the process. But if they do happen to stay and just don't care about the value moving back, which they might because this draft is not as deep as other ones, I think Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and Tevin Jenkins are probably the prime guys you see picked there.
Steven?
So kind of unrelated, but Robert Saleh talking to Zach Wilson almost made me shed a tear. Don't even care that I said that. I want Asante Samuel Jr. because his dad did really well for the Patriots, and that's what we need.
He cost us a Super Bowl, man.
I mean, like, too bad. So did Eli Manning.
Oh my gosh, this man can catch a break.
Mac Jones. My time.
Hold on. They aren't going to
In
any
fairness,
Super Bowl. They won't have
Yeah,
any
we're not
Super
going
Bowls
to one,
lose with
not
Mac
two,
Jones.
not three.
hold on. In
Oh
fairness,
my
I'm not sure Eli
gosh.
Manning cost him any Super Bowls. That might have been David Tyree and Mario
Okay,
Manning.
Michael
here.
Strahan. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Michael Strahan, yeah, for sure.
X, you're getting no breaks today. I'm so sorry.
Like, you
Yeah,
grabbed
it's-
the
it's
pick
okay.
that
I
think Tova could
absolutely
have caught. It's
pummeled.
ridiculous. I hate it. I'll always hate him for that. Look, if you want that guy, go ahead. Go ahead, take him, please.
X, it's fine. I got absolutely berated for the Giants, so
I can take a fullback with 34. And I feel more confident in my draft right now.
Early second round tomorrow is going to be full of a lot of high tech. I tried to glaze over that so that X didn't like hurt himself on camera, but lots of big time talent available in the early picks of the second round tomorrow. If X wakes up tomorrow, then he'll be able to give some insight on those picks on Twitter. Chris will be around too. I look to the first pick of the second round. The Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. Christian Barmore is there. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is there. But Trayvon Mayrig is there too. The two most commonly mocked players to them at 25, Barmore and Mayrig are there. Who are you taking? Barmore or Mayrig, if those are your two options?
I think Mayrig for sure. I like his versatility too. I mean, he can slot in as a linebacker if he needs to. I wouldn't do it, but based on like his size, I feel like that's something they could do. And overall, I think he was a little bit better than Barmore, and I think that's a little bit of a bigger need. Those are two very big needs for them, but their safety situation is really bleak. So I think their best bet is to go Mayrig right there. But there's nothing wrong with going Barmore. They're both two great players that should have gone in round one.
I like Barmore. I think Jacksonville needs more Barmore type players. Tickets to that pool aren't going to sell themselves. Lawrence, Travis, Barmore, that's going to do it for him. Yeah.
I don't know if Barmore's selling tickets, but he is a good addition to the team. I do think that is the best player they can take if they wanted to really improve that interior defensive rush. Which is the additional need to fix. So that guy, and then maybe an edge rusher like Aziz or Carlos
Why would
Basham.
they take an edge rusher though? They have Caleb.
Opposite of Josh Allen. Chaseon's trash.
But are they
We're
ready?
giving up on
that's
him
a
in
total
one
I
year?
am,
Urban
yes.
Meyer.
I am.
After one, no. But is Urban Meyer doing that? Because
Yes.
his thing is speed, and Caleb Chaseon is exactly what he wants—a raw pass rusher who's.
But he
fast
can't
as
pass
light.
rush. He just is fast.
I just don't. Maybe if Ojulari is there, do they have a second round pick?
I think so.
Yes, they do at 45. If Aziz is there at 45, then yes. Does Aziz make it to 45? No. The Giants are picking at 42. I think that's as far as he goes. But I also don't see that happening. I mean, The Falcons are right there at 35. I think they're desperate. We have time for one more discussion here. One big pick of the first round was there was a little run on edge rushers, but the first off the board was Jalen Phillips to the Dolphins. What are y'all's thoughts on that? He might not be an exact scheme fit, but he's definitely the best edge rusher in the class.
The
He's edge
Dolphins
one for
nailed
sure.
it.
He's
Yeah.
definitely edge one. Like I don't think there was many qualms about that. I mean, if his injury issues are definitely a concern, but the talent he can possibly provide, like he's the kind of player like you could win now with, which is my point to the guys who drafted in the back end and drafted the developmental guys. A guy like Jalen Phillips is more of a win now edge rusher rather than like a Rousseau or a I still don't know his name.
Peyton Turner. You'll know
yeah.
it when he gets 12 sacks.
When he gets
this
2 sacks
season,
and gets
and
cut.
then
Yeah,
he breaks
I
the
know.
sack record next season.
Okay. Those guys are.
How much did he pay you to say that, Tolva?
They
Don't
call
lie.
him 10 sack Turner.
They don't call him that.
You call him that.
You call
Buy
him
him some
that.
gloves, for the love of God. Can he not afford them? At
I call him
Houston?
no.
Like, what is going on?
I call him no glove Turner.
Your team drafted a third string quarterback. You have no place to
Time
go.
to- I
be
call
fair,
him
you
time
can't
to
talk.
turn off
I
the
can
TV,
talk.
Turner.
I can
Time
talk
to
because
turn
I
off
had a
the
great
You
TV,
are
draft.
on the
Turner.
highest horse I have ever seen in my
I can
life.
talk.
Hey,
I
whoa,
can
whoa, whoa,
definitely
whoa,
talk.
It's all right.
Whoa.
He'll still be on that high horse when they go 7-9 next year.
Yes,
I'm
Hey,
okay with that.
yes,
Okay,
sorry,
yes,
sorry,
yes,
7 and
yes,
10,
yes,
7 and
yes,
10.
yes.
Okay with that. Okay, we were 2
7
and
and
14 this
10,
year. I'm okay
that's
with
right.
that. That's plus 5 wins, baby. That's a W in my book.
Well, 4.5 wins. I
When
mean,
Mac
that's an extra
Jones
game.
makes the tennis Hall of Fame and the Pro Football Hall of Fame, who will be laughing then? I'm just saying.
I don't know if a tennis career is going to buy him a ticket, though.
No, but mine will. I'll be able to go see 10 sack Turner get 12 sacks against Matt Ryan in one game.
I don't think
gonna
they
be
call him
great.
10 sack Turner.
Well, that's his new name. 10 sack
I'd
Turner.
rather take Vontae Mack than Turner.
God, y'all are
I would
brutal.
do. He's the first overall pick, X.
All right. This is it. That was our discussion about the first round. I mean, we got some surprises. We had a couple unexpected picks like Mac Jones at 15, sorry. I think that's the highest that the Patriots have selected in a couple years, and they still took Mac Jones. Anyway, goodbye from the TSW crew. We hope you all have a good night and you're happy with your team's
Steven, lead
pick.
us off. Lead us off here,
sack
Steven.
Turner.
Stephen, what you got?
Lead us off. Our faithful leader.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Thanks, guys. Be back around the weekend. I mean, I don't know. I was thinking about Robert Saleh talking about Zach Wilson again, and
Got
like,
distracted.
yeah.
Started driven.
Luckily, I haven't watched those clips yet, so I'm still like not like drooling
You
yet.
will
I'm
cry.
gonna go watch every Houston game played, every single snap of that man's
That
career. I'm
sucked.
gonna